Hello everyone, welcome to this week's live stream. My name is Aurélien. We'll be talking about the Fedora project again, and we'll be looking at what happened during the week on the various places where there is activity in the Fedora project, which is meetings on Matrix, mailing lists, obviously, the forum discussions, and there are other places, but right now it's going to be limited to those. So let me share the screen and we can start. All right. So, first I'm going to upload the meeting logs. Wait, should I do this on screen? Maybe not. Just a second, because my meeting logs are not running. Right now my meeting summaries are not running in the Fedora infrastructure, because it's not really using free software right now. Well, my software is free, of course, but it's using a general purpose LLM language that is not LLM that is not free at all. So right now I'm running those things here on my computer at home. But let's look at this week in Fedora. I'm going to share my screen for that one. Okay, so let's look at what it's going to be building with the data this week. So let's do a time first. Poetry run this week in Fedora, and let's make it a draft. So it's looking at the announcements that happen on the mailing list and on the forums. Then it's going to be getting the summaries from the meeting logs, Meetbot. And it's now failing horribly. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Let me unshare the screen for a second because I'll be looking at a file that you shouldn't see. Group not configured security. What does this say? That's weird. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's fine, that's fine. So security, that's how it's called. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that they had a matrix meeting, but that's great. Let's do this again. Sharing the screen. And running. All right. I hope the sound is correct. It should be fine. So, running. Okay, looking at the summary. Oh, failing again? What's going on? So that means that I haven't defined group not configured security. Huh. Well, that should be easy. What's it called? Sorry, how is it called? It's called... Oh, the title is security. That's fine. Okay, it's case sensitive. Let's try it again. Sorry. It should be fine. I should be able to share the screen with... But the configuration file also contains my API key for the LLM, so I'd rather not share it accidentally, even though I can, of course, rebuild one, but... Okay, that's better. Okay, now it's looking at the forum topics on discourse, and now it's going to be looking at the mailing lists. So once hey, how to pasta? Why do I not use an open source LM? That's a very good question. I haven't tried yet because I'm figuring out the financing side of the thing. Basically, I currently have a free access to a non-open source LLM, which is basically Gemini. And I want to try something that is as open source as possible, but there is a financing side to it, and I'm currently figuring out this side. I think it should be done hopefully by the end of next month. But I'm in the process of doing that. Right now, I didn't want to, like, since I had a free access to Google's LLM, I thought I would be trying to build the thing, see if there's an audience for it, if people are interested in it, and in what it outputs, and then I can easily switch LLMs to something else, because most of the APIs are kind of similar, and there are Python packages for all of them. So I'm looking at Olmo from AI2, which is an open source LLM that, hey, no, thank you very much. That's focus telling me that I should stretch. Let me disable the thing. Yes. So I'm looking at Olmo from AI2. It's open source, like the software is open source, but you also have access to the training data, which is much better than a lot of open source LLMs, such as Llama 2, for example. So that's pretty cool. And they are running it on a platform that accepts payments in some kind that I think I can figure out. Okay, so it has looked at all the mailing list threads, and now it's calling the LLM for the different parts. So it's calling the LLM for each group, first for the announcements, and then for each group. And then it's going to call the LLM again to make a summary of all that. So you have a summary of the summaries. But it works. And it usually takes about 8 minutes to build the entire thing. So let's see how long it takes this time. Yeah, almost sounds cool already. I mean, it's the closest thing to open source that I can find in LLMs at the moment. Of course, there is the inherent problem that retraining the LLM from the training data that is available to you, it's technically possible, but it takes such an enormous amount of hardware and energy that it's not really available. It's not really accessible to the hobbyist in his cave, you know, in his not cave, but in his basement. Cave is the French word for it. Anyway, so I still think that it's useful to have access to training data, even though rebuilding the model itself would take a lot of resources, because if some institution that has a lot of resources wants to do it, they still can. For example, I don't know if the European Union wants to rebuild the LLM for its to check what it's doing, or to like improve something or whatever. It's still possible. So you say you've been using Gemma 3 also from Google. Okay, I haven't tried that. Is that an LLM, or is it something that builds images or videos? Or I'm not really up to date on the latest developments in this area. Open source LLM. Okay, interesting. And do you have access to the training data, or is it just like the software itself? I would be surprised if you had access to the training data in something that comes from Google, because of course just the model you don't know. Of course they are training it on a gigantic amount of data that they have in-house at Google, and I'm pretty sure that they're not going to be releasing any of that. That's where the value is, basically. And they were saying the same thing 20 years ago also. Like, I remember people from Google saying that they don't have better algorithm than other people. And they were not talking about AI or LLMs in this regard. They were talking about search engines. They were saying that we don't have better algorithms that are I'm having trouble finding my words now, like concurrent, like our opponents. No, that's not really the right term, but our competitors. Yes, that's the term. They were saying we don't have better algorithm than our competitors. We just have more data. And so that was something that they were taking advantage of even before what we call AI today, or LLMs, or image generation, like generative AI, was somewhere on the horizon. Okay, so it's running for, I've sorted the groups in a way that made sense to me. So it's somewhat sorted in my mind. So you have like the governing bodies first, you have a council, you have FESCO, you have the packaging committee, and then you have the editions, you have workstation or GNOME, you have KDE, you have server, and then you have some groups that help build the distribution itself. So you have infrastructure, you have range, you have quality, and then you have like more the communication side of things with design and docs, legal even, and then you have all that is related to enterprise Linux, such as Apple, CentOS Hyperscale, ELN, and then you have the atomic, or the image mode things, such as Atomic and CoreOS, and then you have the various SIGs, AI and ML and machine language. You have security, you have all the languages such as Go, Perl, Python, etc., etc. You have Rust. It's only listing here those that there is data for this week. And then you have the group none, which is everything else. I agree that the log is not really pretty. Getting summary from the LLM for the group none doesn't really make a lot of sense. I should change that message, but at the moment I'm the only one seeing it, so. And once that's done, yes. Once that's done, we'll be looking at the output. Yeah, it's done the none group, and then it's building the global summary. And there you have. Okay, so I'm looking at, so I'm looking at, there is a validation of the output, and I see that there's this link that happened 6 times. I see that there were some issues that were links to Meetbot blog, so we're going to be looking at that. So first, let's have a first look at what it looks like. So that's last week, and you have this one here. Okay, so here, that's what's been built. You have this here that should be fixed. It's links that go not to the change itself, but to the Meetbot logs. So we definitely want to fix that. So let's look at. Oh, I didn't start it? Okay, fine. Let us look at the content. Yeah, I'm gonna do that in VS Code. That's gonna be easier because I also have the prettier formatting that I can use. There you go. Please don't show this. Okay, there you go. Let's look at the content. Well, I'm gonna close everything. Thank you very much. And let's look at the content. This one here. Okay, it's probably very small, but we can make that bigger. I'm gonna close this because who cares about Claude right now? And close and move that down further. Okay. That is the what has been generated. So what does it say? Across the project, many groups are focused on infrastructure migration and preparing for the next release. The most significant focus this week was the upcoming Fedora 44 beta, release engineering entering freeze, exactly. we know that. Quality and server team organizing, testing, and viewing blockers, very good. And FESCO deferring several incomplete changes to Fedora 45. Good. A second major cross-team effort is the ongoing migration of repositories and tickets to the new Forjo instance, a task mentioned by the infrastructure, Forjo UX and AI teams, and underscored by the formal announcement of Pagura OS decommissioning. Okay. Other common work includes routine package maintenance, highlighted by the KDE team managing the fallout from recent Plasma 6.6 update, and the Apple team completing its mass branching for the next Rail Point release. Nice. Okay, so now we have the announcements. Community updates for week 9. Several details progress across several project areas. Infrastructure and continuing migration of Pagura repositories. CentOS infra team worked on various fixes and storage extensions. Release engineering is in beta freeze and has provided the first beta release candidate to the QE team, which is now in the midst of Fedora 44 beta testing and running a kernel 6.19 test week. The RISC-V team made progress on unified kernels and investigating package build failures. And the Apple team completed the mass branching for Apple 10.2 in preparation for the next RHEL release. Okay, nice. The Forjo team reported on their FOSDEM presentation and continued migration efforts, including creating a new namespace or new namespaces for the join EuroFedora and Fedora KDE SIGs. In AI developments, the AI code review tool was updated to use Gemini 3.1 Pro, and the team shared experiences using Claude for refactoring. The UX team also began using Gemini for meeting notes, posted an update on Fedora 44.5 wallpaper process, and is actively migrating their tickets and assets to Forjo. Very good. FESCO. FESCO held a meeting to review the status of implement changes for the upcoming Fedora 44 release. A key outcome was the decision to defer several changes to Fedora 45 due to risk or lack of readiness, including the protobuf 5.6 update, use of KMSCon as the default console, and making package builds reproducible. The committee also discussed the restrict ptrace by default change proposal. A decision was postponed because of the proposed compromise disabling the restriction. What's this dash? That's a weird dash. Compromise disabling restriction. Wait. Because of the recent compromise. Okay. That's the actual dash. Okay, thank you. Was it this one? Yes. Disabling the restriction if GDB is installed was seen as potentially ineffective for most users, as ABRT's dependency on GDB headless will disable the feature on a majority of systems. In the community forum, the discussion continued regarding the policy of updating KDE Plasma to major versions within a stable Fedora release. A user expressed frustration that the recent update to Plasma 6.6 caused system breakages, feeling it was more akin to a rolling release. Responses from the Fedora KDE team clarified that this update follows an established policy, exceptions for KDE, and that extensive work was done to prepare for the release. Okay, decisions. Okay, that's where the links are wrong. We're going to fix them, okay? So, let's fix them intelligently. What should those links be? FESCO? Yes. Let's look at, do we have FESCO here? No. Let's look at the meeting logs, see if we can spot a link to the actual FESCO ticket. Oh yeah, that's where they are. They're on Pagure. Okay, so what should those logs be? Let's use a regex. You know, you have a problem, you try to solve it with a regex, and now you have two problems. Okay. Let's try though. I had something in mind first. Replace it with okay. Let's say you have Ah, yeah, that's not good. Cancel. Replace it with -1. Let's see if that works. Oh yeah, that doesn't work because of this was inside it. Let's try again. Let's try again. That looks right. And now let's do the others. The others, yeah, because they have parentheses around it. So that's why it's fading. Well, it should be escaped parentheses. Thank you very much. And I am now sounds right, looks right, and looks right. Let's save and let's rebuild. Of course, I don't have to rebuild the entire thing. Thank you very much. I can just do the rebuild, just do the Pelican build step. So there are still issues that were linked to a midbot log. So, okay, that's much better. Is it the actual thing? For the night live media, very good. Okay, all right, let's keep going. Package committee now. Well, the change was Moderna's live media will be deferred to Fedora 45. Okay. The change package builds are expected to be reproducible will be moved to Fedora 45. The change protobuf 5 to 6 will be moved to Fedora 45. Is this considered too risky for Fedora 44? The change use KMSCOM's default VT console was backed out and will be moved to Fedora 45. The request in ticket 3570 concerning F42 was formally approved. All right, let's keep going. Packaging committee now. This week, the committee's discussion was centered on packaging policies and technical challenges. Okay. A significant forum topic involved users' feedback on the policy to update, blah, blah, blah. You know that one. Yeah, you know that one. Oh, there's another one. Another discussion explored the feasibility and benefits of packaging the React JavaScript library, with the consensus being that the JavaScript ecosystem's bundling practices are largely incompatible with Fedora's packaging guidelines. Oh, you bet. Making it a significant challenge. On the mailing list, packagers sought advice on specific issues. One ongoing thread dealt with the technical difficulties of uploading a very large, more than 2 gigabytes, SRPM to Koji or Copper, which was timing out due to its size. Another packager asked for guidance on the proper way for a package to modify another package's configuration file. Okay, when dropping directories are not a viable option. Finally, a request was posted for volunteer to adopt and maintain the Q terminal music player package. For Fedora, no formal decisions were made this week. I can remove that part. That's not really a useful part. Okay, workstation and GNOME. This week, workstation GNOME, the workstation, yeah, let's just say the workstation group. Workstation SIG. Yeah, I guess. Held their regular meeting on February 24, which covered several significant topics. The group discussed the filter Fedora Flatpaks for Atomic Desktop change proposal, the future of the ABRT tool, with its removal scheduled for a discussion at the next meeting, an update on accessibility bug reporting. A serious non-install blocker bug related to the GNOME input stack was also raised. In the forum, a user added their voice to the ongoing discussion about the potential disabling of middle-click pasting in a future GNOME version. Yep, middle-click pasting, oh yeah, that's gonna raise a lot of concerns, I suppose. Finally, an announcement was made for the next meeting on March 3. Cool. Decisions taken. The group approved dropping i686 builds for the GNOME Leaf packages, those without reverse dependencies on i686, to prevent future build issues while retaining GTK for i686 due to its use by Steam. Okay, the Intel LPMD low power mode daemon service was enabled by default in workstation installs to improve power management. Very good. All right, what else? What do we have in KDE this week? This week, discussions in the KDE SIG, I suppose, focused heavily on the recent update to Plasma 6.6 in Fedora. Yeah. You know that one. Yeah. So, Plasma 6.6 update, including display resolution problem with the new Plasma login manager on Xorg. Other users shared their experience with the, A minor issue with the KDE Discover getting stuck on refreshing Flatpaks was also reported, which later resolved itself. Yeah, those things happen. Due to persistent crashing issues, Mallet keyboard is no longer the default virtual keyboard. Yeah, it's been crashing all the time and filling up my logs. The new default on Fedora releases with Plasma 6.6 and newer is now Plasma keyboard. All right, very cool. Server. This week, the server working group focused on organizing the testing plan for the upcoming Fedora 44 beta release. In their weekly meeting, volunteers were assigned to test various configurations, including BIOS, UEFI, AH64, and RAID setups. A mailing list posts announced the availability of the beta candidate for this effort. The group also held initial discussions about the potential home server spin-off, particularly on regarding the use of BTRFS, and agreed to create an issue template for the Fojo instance. The discussion on the streamlined backup and restore project was postponed. Okay. An issue template and chooser will be created for the server working group's Fojo instance. All findings, bugs, and documentation updates for F44 beta testing will be tracked in Fojo ticket 186. Seems correct. The link seems correct. The group will be using the project's wiki page, cool, to collaboratively gather IDs for the home server spin-off before next meeting. The discussion on the streamlined backup restore project was postponed to the next meeting. Okay, well, that's twice. We can remove this one. It's been said twice. We don't really need it twice. Okay, infrastructure now. The infrastructure team's week was focused on monitoring backlog refinement and tooling improvement. In that main meeting, they discussed the ongoing Flatpak migration to Quay.io and the challenges with its permission model. They also addressed recurring HTTPD issues on people 01, likely caused by scrapers, and continued the migration of monitoring checks from Nagios to Zabbix. Daily stand-ups covered ongoing work on public inbox and P-signs authentication, and a request for non-root log access was discussed but deferred due to security concerns. Frequent user logouts from the Forge platform were acknowledged as a known issue. On the mailing list, the new Ansible helper script were introduced, check etc for identifying unknown files in etc, NCLog playbook for easier log viewing. In community interaction, the ISOC IL offered to host a new Fedora and Apple Mirror, thank you. A user reported missing repositories in the Grok Mirror manifest, and an existing mirror announced a prolonged outage. Okay, decisions taken. The stale toddler and retire package queue will be removed from Rebellion queue, and its corresponding Nagios monitoring check will be disabled. Yeah, makes sense. Stand-up bot, oh yeah, that's wrong. The stand-up bot, okay, will be rewritten as a mouthboard plugin rather than fixing the existing code. Okay, that's interesting. I want to have a look at this thing here. First, give me the link. Let's fix the links first, and then I want to look at that. Blah, 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 blah. That's the link. 12759, is that the right link? No, it's 12750. Okay. Oh, interesting. Clearly, I'm interested in that. Cool. Agreed. That would be really great. Okay, let's fix the link. Wait, what? Standard bot. Let's fix the link number as well, 13169. The proposal to add more detailed service information to the main status page. Ah, that's wrong again. Let's fix the link. (12759) was declined, though the team is open to creating a separate detailed Zabbix dashboard for contributors. Okay. Range. The Range team's weekly meeting focused on preparation for the upcoming Fedora 44 beta release, of course, and improving internal processes. All right. There was a significant discussion about the best way to manage the ticket backlog, debating different approaches in Forgeo to find a process that works for the team. They also triaged several old tickets and identified tickets. Identified ticket 13062 as a good candidate for creating custom Zabbix service checks. On the forum, logs to two Fedora 44 blocker review meetings were posted, where multiple proposed blockers and for exception were reviewed, with some being accepted, rejected, or deferred for further investigation. Additionally, a forum discussion was started suggesting a smarter bandwidth prioritization for DNF to improve user experience during package downloads. Okay, that's bigger. The process will be formally documented in this, as discussed in this ticket. The link looks correct. Okay, there's Bugzilla links that all look correct here. Okay, those look correct. Okay. Cool. Quality. This week, the quality group, working group, held the Fedora 44 blocker review meeting. Well, that's kind of like Range, no? No. To assess proposed beta blockers and freeze exceptions. Key discussion centered on the KDE networking style hang and a graphics issue when typing a Lux password. Decisions on both were postponed to gather more information and clarify release criteria. The team also announced a Podman 5.8 test week, scheduled for February 27, that's today, to March 6, so it starts this week. It starts today. On the mailing list, members discussed F44 update problems related to Initram FS generation and followed up on the issue where the F44 installer hangs on slow machines, for which a bug has not been filed. Okay. 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 Design. This week, the design team advanced the process for Fedora 45 wallpaper. Following a community poll, Alan Turing was chosen as the inspiration. Yes, but we know that. It's been discussed last week already. A new discussion was started to brainstorm concepts outlining 3 potential themes for exploration. The mechanical Enigma aesthetic focusing on cryptography. That would be so cool. It will be so cool. Morphogenesis, inspired by Turing's work on mathematical patterns in nature, and Lighter legacy symbolizing its life and impact. All would be great. It will all be great. The team is now in the sketching and rough draft phase, inviting community members to share ideas and providing a full schedule for the wallpaper's creation. So right now is the good time to chime in if you want. Decisions. Alan Turing was selected. Well, that was last week, I suppose. Let me check that it was last week. Design. Okay, 24th of January. Yeah, nothing. Oh, something was added recently, but that's just, yeah, not very useful. Okay, let me remove that part. Okay, docs now. This week, the docs team held a meeting focused on improving the experience for both new contributors and new Fedora users. A key discussion involved a plan to restructure the documentation for setting up a local authoring environment by breaking the work into 5 smaller packages to lower the technical barrier. The team, well, it'd be nice to have a link to the ticket here. What's the ticket? I'm pretty sure they'll be giving links here, no? Do they have links? Yes, they do have links. That's issue number 1. Congrats on your first issue. Let's build this as a link. Great. Now ticket 8, I suppose, is the same thing. Beginning guides to Fedora, which led to a decision on how to handle user-focused guides on other topics. Other topics include the ongoing Fedora migration and promoting contribution opportunities. In forum discussions, a plan was announced to retire the obsolete Ask Fedora SOP once the forum guidelines are finalized. Additionally, it was suggested that a popular guide on power management with PowerTop and TuneD should be turned into a new quick doc. Nice. The work to improve the contributor authoring environment setup. Ticket 1. Will be broken down into 5 distinct sub-issues. A new documentation section, likely the new Antora component, will be created to house user-focused content like the new Beginner's Guide to Fedora. A new quick doc will be created based on the forum guide using the Okay, well, all that was already stated above. I don't think we need to repeat those. Let's remove this paragraph. Legal. This week, the legal group received a forwarded status update on the project to convert package license field to the SPDX format. Update from Miroslav Sochi highlighted that only 43 packages remain non-compliant, with a special focus on the final 4 packages in the ELN set. The message also informed maintainers about an updated license validate tool and provided links to lists of remaining packages to help finalize the conversion effort. The decision was taken. That is not really something I want to add if there's no reason to. All right, let's go with Apple. The Apple group completed the mass branching for Apple 10.2. Well done. Enabling builds for the upcoming Apple 10.3. Minor issue affecting body updates where after the branching was quickly identified and resolved. Well done, folks. The weekly Apple meeting was a routine check to review open issues. On the mailing list, 2 key proposals were On the mailing list, 2 key proposals were discussed. A request for an incompatible upgrade of Python Django all-auth in Apple 9, which surfaced a potential dependency conflict with free IPSQR code requirement, and a proposal to retire the end-of-life Python Django 3 package from Apple 8 and 9 due to unpatched security vulnerabilities. Okay. CentOS Hyperscale. During the weekly CentOS Hyperscale SIG meeting, the main topics of discussion were project management and upstream collaboration. A significant effort is underway to upstream hyperscale features into Fedora to create a Fedora ELN hyperscale variant with progress tracked in a new issue. This initiative highlights the need for discussions with RHEL kernel teams about enabling BTRFS. The group also announced that a new, more comprehensive script for monitoring member inactivity is now live and will be used to manage membership. Finally, the group noted the recent branching of Enterprise Linux 10.2. Okay. Decisions taken. Okay. The tracker migration for Pagure to GitLab is complete. Well done. The group will begin cleaning up the list of inactive members using the new inactivity monitoring report. Cool. ELN. During the single meeting this week, the ELN group discussed progress on adding ELN Bootsy image with the draft merge requests now awaiting review. The main topic was a proposal to create an ELN variant for the CentOS Hyperscale SIG. This would involve adding btfs.ko to the kernel module's internal package for AH64 to avoid a separate kernel build, a change the group generally agreed with as it fits with the ELN mission. Members were also asked to contribute IDs for future SIG goals to the relevant GitHub issue. Seems clean. The group agreed to move forward with a proposal for an ELN hyperscale variant, and work will begin to upstream the required change to rawhide. Okay. The meeting for the following week was cancelled due to conflicts. Next meeting is scheduled for March 10. Excellent. Atomic. This week, the Atomic group main focus was on the status of the Conflux pipeline migration. Okay, while the pipeline is currently unblocked, the full transition from Pungin is still waiting on a cluster redeploy and solutions for artifact signing. A key development was FESCO's approval of the artifact signing change proposal, which allows for the team to proceed with the current group for F44-bit beta. Other discussions included migrating repositories to the new Fedora Forge instance and the ongoing need to establish a formal working group to take ownership of the Bootsy-based images. A forum discussion was also initiated concerning the dbus run session tool, which was reportedly removed from recent Silverblue updates, the topic concluding with the user finding a bug report to investigate the issue further. Okay, cool. Decisions: the Conflux pipeline tests were made optional as a temporary measure to unblock builds. CentOS, CoreOS now. This week the CoreOS team addressed a significant upgrade issue in the testing stream, okay, where nodes could get stuck due to a problem with Vincati. A workaround was published for affected users. The team also announced that Pommel 5.8 is being shipped to the next stream to test the automatic migration of its container database from BoldDB to SQLite. A community video meeting was held to continue the discussion on expanding Ignition for Azure-specific configuration, with the recording and notes made available. Additionally, a forum discussion on CoreOS hardening was revived with a new post suggesting the use of NF tables and the Bastion host to improve SSH security in light of the recent XZ utils backdoor. Cool. Decisions: Podmine 5.8, which includes an automatic database migration for BoldDB to SQLite, will be shipped in the next stream for testing. Okay, that's a duplicate. I can remove that. A workaround was published. Okay, this is all things that were already explained above. AI and ML. This week they held one meeting. It's not really, well, group is too generic. Let's call it SIG. Held one meeting and had one minor update in a forum discussion. The main focus of the meeting was on consolidating the SIGs brand and identity, with a discussion on how to absorb several related but inactive SIGs to create a clear entry point for new contributors. That makes sense. The group also reviewed the status of its migration to Fedora Forge, noting that it's nearly complete, and welcomed 3 new members who will assist with the coordination. In the forum, it was concluded that there was not enough feedback to change the current meeting schedule for now. Alright, decision taken. The SIG repository for tracking issues on Fedora Forge was renamed from .profiles to ticket. Ready? Well, yeah. Okay. A request will be sent to the Fedora design team to create logo options to help finalize the SIGs brand identity. New members Justin Wheeler, Carol Chen, and Dominic Kauka, were added to the SIGs permission group on Fedora Forge. Cool. Security now. The security group held a meeting focusing on the ongoing discussion regarding the security SIG and FAS, Fedora Account System groups, with an action item for interested members to review the related issue ticket. A procedural suggestion was also made to use a consistent meeting name for better organization of logs. I like that. In forum discussions, a new thread on SE Linux mailing lists raised an issue where SE Linux policies in CentOS 10 are preventing QEMU virtual machines from starting after an upgrade, specifically due to QEMU var run labels. Interesting. Go now. We'll go to with the languages. During the weekly Go SIG meeting, the team welcomed new attendee Vitsmolik. Hello! Key discussions centered on package maintenance and updates. A renaming request was filed for the Golang Xvoln to Govoncheck to align with packaging guidelines. The group also noted that Go Fedora.25.7 had been submitted as an update for Fedora 42. Ah yeah, that's way too old. Ongoing efforts include converting packages to the new vendoring format and addressing a list of broken or orphan packages. Decisions, the renaming request for the Prometheus package was approved. Cool. Perl. Oh, there's activity in the Perl group. It's centered on package maintenance of the Perl SIG. Centered on package maintenance through pull requests. Discussions include a proposal to exclude the private key from RPM documentation for Perlnet SLA, okay, which prompted a suggestion to also exclude the related test file. Work also continued on the update of Perlnet server, with several attempts to retrigger CI tests in all threads. The packet bot posted a notice about its transition from being the default CI system to, well, that's not really useful. That part here, not really useful. Decisions, Perlnet DavTalk package was updated to version 0.24. A pull request to conditionalize a load test for Perl XML XPath was merged. Other discussions now, that's all the rest. Okay, that's going to be a bigger block, I suppose. In a discussion about upcoming decommissioning of Pagure.io, the Fedora project leader announced that contributors should begin migrating Fedora-related work to the new Forgeo-based service at forge.fedoraproject.org. It was noted that not all projects will be suitable for migration, and the Fedora Council is expecting to release a policy statement soon to clarify the process and address concerns. A user on the buildsys list reported that mock builds are failing on CentOS 10. Okay. At the user add mock build test, a error message suggested a failure to prepare a new sub-UID entry, and the user suspected an issue with mock itself on the newest version. A request was made for Proven Packager to help with an update to KD single application package. The update involved a soname bump, which necessitates a rebuild of 7 dependent packages. The requester has already performed a successful test build in Copper. An incompatible upgrade for Python Django OAuth was requested. Yeah, we know that one. Okay. A developer outlined a major refactoring plan for the Wine Mono package. Proposed change include adding WPFGFX support, unbundling numerous dependencies like FAudio and SDL3, splitting the package for individual architecture installation, and applying patches from the main Mono package. A proposal was made to provide LLVM libcxx builds for main GUW to improve binary compatibility. Okay. A discussion was started regarding the limitations and crashes of the Anaconda Web UI. The author detailed issues encountering multi-boot installations with multiple LUKS encrypted partitions, such as the inability to handle different LUKS passwords and difficulty distinguishing partitions, and is seeking to gather an overview of existing problems and potential solutions. A developer reported that builds in a site tags were failing due to the Git cloning step. After another contributor suggested they may have forgotten to push the commit, the issue was resolved, though the original poster was unsure it was a transient or user error. Should I report that? Let's not report that one. Okay, it may have been just a mistake. An update on the SPDX conversion effort noted that only 43 packages remain non-compliant. A brief discussion followed on how to correctly interpret the provided statistics to identify the specific packages that still need work. A thread was started to address intermittent boot hang in Fedora 44, observed during OpenQA testing, primarily on IH64. The system stalls after init-rd switch root, and the issue appears to be timing-related race condition, as enabling debug logging makes it disappear. Oh yeah, that's annoying. Ooh, I don't want to be debugging that. That's going to be very annoying. Other discussions this week, including commit notifications for Sandlock. Yeah, I don't care about that one. A request for help with the min GW zlibng transition. You know what? Let me fix this thing. Okay, there's a... Okay, Sunlock Devil seems to be a commit by Pagure at pagure.io. That's one of the usernames that I'm going to be excluding. So let me unshare this for a second because I'm going to be editing a file that you shouldn't see. I'm just pausing this for a second. Skip list name, skip senders. There you go. Do I want to be ignoring all the messages from Pagure? Yes, probably. That seems correct. Okay, let me get back to this. Scream and cam now. Okay, yeah, it's cool. Okay. Oh yeah, I can see that you're not seeing the entire thing. That's a little bit annoying. Should I split this so that you can... All right, it should be more easy to read now. Okay, so a request to help with the MinGWZ. Okay. A request for a list of SPDX converted package needing re-review, a proposal to switch MinGW to the UCRT runtime, a discussion about prefixing RPM macros that start with a new line, okay. A follow-up on making protobuf and gRPC static only, okay. So submission of a change proposal for DRM panic frontend, and continued discussion about the removal of virtual provides from TechLive, and the usability of the discourse forum email integration. Package updates now. An announcement was made for the upcoming ABI incompatible update of USD. Okay. A heads up was given for the upcoming update of blah blah blah. Okay. The Mac package is being updated, blah blah blah. The S3 package will be updated to version blah blah blah. Didn't I have some of those here as well? Yeah, no, okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Okay, that's not too bad. Heads up, okay. There's 3 package will be updated, which includes Solemnbug independent package Prusa slicer will be rebuilt. Maintainer is also considering the update for F44. Following a previous announcement, the builds for the update of Octave have started, okay. The mass rebuild for the major update of Mongo C driver, okay. Rebuild of OCaml, okay. Uncover the code generation bug on AH64 affecting virtualization packages. The issue is suspected to be in the OCaml compiler itself. And the discussion also touched on the implications of the enable frame pointers configuration options. Orphaning packages now. A non-responsive maintainer check was filed for Neil Hanlon, okay. The maintainer confirmed that the packages belonging to the NWG shell stack, including blah blah blah, have been orphaned, as they are no longer needed by the Miracle SIG. The DT package, due to lack of time, it was immediately adopted by another contributor who had already created a pull request to fix its FTBFS issue, fails to build from source issue. Well done, community, well done. In a reply to the weekly orphan package report, a contributor requested to adopt and unretire the Rust text distance package. The maintainer of the LMDB package announced their intention to hand it over. A member of the 389 directory server team whose project depends on LMDB expressed interest in taking over maintenance with a colleague offering to co-maintain. That is great. Let's rebuild and look at the final result. Oopsie, not you. Okay. Well, that's the thing. So let's see if the summary is accurate. Across the project, many groups are focused on infrastructure migration preparation. Okay, yeah. Okay, that looks nice. Any opinion on all of that? If not, I'm going to rebuild it without the draft flag. But I don't think that's sufficient. Actually, I should be removing the draft status from here. Okay, and remove the modified as well, because I don't think that would be useful. Let's rebuild. Okay, we don't have any draft anymore. And now, if I look at this index page, we are now on the Fedora 23 to March 01 in the front page. Looks good. Let's upload. Is this correct? Yeah, those links are fine. There was something in infrastructure as well. Really cool. Okay, good job. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm pretty happy with the result actually. I think it's pretty interesting to see everything that happens in the Fedora project for a week, because there's a ton of activity actually. And I wouldn't be able to follow it if I were looking at the forums and the mailing list. Like, I've stopped following the devel list for a while already. And I'm happy that I can now have a summary of that. Okay. Let's upload. And now, this week in Fedora, the official page. It's there. Fedora 23, Feb 23 to March 01. It is there. I'm going to pass this link in the chat in case you're interested and want to do something, but well, I don't have access to my chat. That's annoying. Woohoo. Pace yourself. There you go. Okay. Well, with this being reviewed and uploaded, I think we can stop here. Unfortunately, there are still things happening in the Fedora project today, because in the US it's still the morning and there are things happening on Friday afternoons. I know that the Python team has meetings at that time. Let's look. Let's look. You know what? Midbot. So there's nothing yet, but if I look at Fedocal, okay, can't I have it more generic? No, I can't. I think Python is meeting this week. Is meeting on Fridays. No. Well, yeah, maybe, but it's not in Fedocal. Meh. Anyway. Oh, SIGs. No. Packaging. No. Meh. Anyway. I know last week there was a meeting of the Python group. And so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm probably going to leave it like this, because we spent quite a bit of time fixing links and all that and reviewing stuff. I might be moving this stream to Monday afternoon, so that we know that nothing else is going to happen this week because we're not in the same week anymore. So we're going to be reviewing the past week on Mondays. Maybe that will be good. I need to check that I don't have any meetings regularly on Monday afternoons. It's usually fine, but not always. Also, doing things on Fridays is usually more easy for people to attend because, like, yeah. Anyway, that's all for us today. I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to wish you a good weekend. I hope you enjoyed looking at what the Fedora project has worked on this week. And I'll see you hopefully next week. Hey, what's that? That's the wrong thing. Okay, hey, it's fine, it's fine. It's already started. So hopefully that was interesting to you, and I'll see you next week. In the meantime, have fun and contribute to open source whenever you can. See you, everyone. And thanks for passing by, Autopasta. It was nice seeing you, and let's up too if you were there. I'll see you next week. If I can. Not sure, but we'll see. That's possible. Probable even. See you next time, folks. Goodbye.